Welcome to another episode of the G.R.W.M podcast. I'm the host, Jasmine Shannelle, and today we are talking about getting right with me. Stick around because gems are definitely about to be dropped, so get ready. Before I get into this episode, I need everyone listening to this podcast to follow the podcast on Instagram at the G.R.W.M pod, and also follow your girl at Jasmine Shannelle. Don't worry, I'll spell it out for you and put it in the episode notes. Okay, let's get started. Welcome back, gems. I have another wonderful episode. I'm so excited that you're here listening in with me today. And of course, today's episode is called Get Right With Me. So I'm going to do today's episode a little different. Basically, I'm going to do a status update. So I'm just going to give you some insight on what I'm personally doing in my life right now, what my life looks like, and if these are some areas that you're trying to work in, I'm hoping that you'll be able to benefit from what I'm talking about today in your own life. And if you have any questions or need any advice about the things that I'm doing in my personal life, then I suggest that you email me. You can email me through the G.R.W.M pod at outlook.com, or you can get on Instagram and hit my DMs. If you know me personally, you can text me, you can call me. I'll be there. Call me, reach me if you want to beat me. I done started already, y'all. So let's get into this episode. So the first thing that I want to talk about is basically the season that I'm in my life. So I'm currently in a season of preparation. And what that looks like is basically I'm preparing myself for my present, which I know I talked about this in the last episode, but I want to go into detail about it today. So the first thing I'm doing in order to prepare for my future is to look at what my future may look like. Because of course we know that we have plans, and they don't go always according to what we plan, but they go into according to what God has planned for us. So I'm looking into what I want to do in the future, and I'm praying that it aligns with the plans that God has for me. And right now I'm just asking that He confirm those things. That's the first thing that I decided to do, was write down my plans and my goals and just pray about, if this is something that God will bless, or if I need to just call it quits and move on to the next venture. So that will be the first thing that I suggest anyone that is looking to prepare themselves for their future to do. Whatever plans you have, I would say pray about them, write them down, write about what it is that bring that idea to you, and ask God, is this something that you're going to be able to actually do in your real life? Like, is this something that He has in plan and store for you? Because if He does, He will definitely align people, resources, all kind of things to line up in order for you to manifest that goal and that dream. So that's the first step that I'm doing in preparing for my future. So the next thing I would say I'm doing is getting my finances together. So as you guys know, I'm just trying to live this supernatural life. I'm trying to be about that life. Okay. I want to be supernaturally paid. I want to be supernaturally healed. I want to have supernatural relationships. Like, I just want everything that God has for me. So I'm just trying to be my greatest self now and later, so that when He provides the things that I'm praying for, and He gives me the things and the resources that I need in order to make anything happen in my life, that I'm able to act on those things. How many times have you been placed in a situation where you wanted this thing so bad and it actually came to you, but you weren't ready? And that has happened to me a couple of times. So in this life, this day, in this age, at this very moment, I'm trying to prepare myself for the unpredictable. So the things that I have planned, not only for my business life, not only for my finances, not only for my life in general, but for my relationships as well, I'm just trying to make a preparation way so that when those times comes, when those prayers are answered, I'm ready, and I can say, okay, let me confirm, is this something that God wants me to do? Am I going to act on it now, or am I going to be patient? And that is another thing that I'm also going through. I'm in a waiting season. So I'm actually at the peak of my waiting season. So I was just in a waiting season. Now I'm in preparation season. So my waiting season, let me tell you guys, was a little rough. I'm not going to say a little. It was rough. it was really hard because I told you I had to let some relationships go. I had to let some mindset go. I have been sacrificing a lot when it comes to my finances, and it has not been easy. I have committed to paying my tithes every check before I pay anything. And, God will provide. And it's just a stretch of faith to know that He will provide every need that we need. And I'm just so thankful for the areas that God has covered me and that He has blessed me because I've been obedient. And I just want to continue to say it doesn't get easier, but it gets better, because you build your faith, you walk by faith and not by sight. And you continue to ask God to bring these things to pass. And recently, I actually just had this conversation with a coworker of mine at work today. And I told her, I said, we were talking about the new movie with Priscilla Shire, Overcomer, because I want to see that movie. War Room was a great movie. If you haven't seen it, I suggest you go see it. But Overcomer, I heard, is a great movie as well. Anything with Priscilla Shire, I'm like, oh, yay, girl, that's my girl, sister. Love me some Priscilla. But I think that people complicate the importance of prayer. Literally, in the Bible, it says that when you seek me in prayer, your requests are made known. And if it aligns with what God is saying that you can do and He will bless, then of course you will inherit that. But you, one, have to believe, and two, you have to really pray and not pray some childish prayer. You have to actually pray fervently. Pray specifically to what it is that you need, because God has a great sense of humor and He will give you exactly what you're praying for. Trust me, I've been there. I've done that. So now I literally am specific in my prayers, what I need, when I need it. And if God is aligning that for me, or if He wants me to take a different route, He'll reveal what He wants me to do, or that thing will come to pass. I literally, for an example, the other day, if you guys follow me on Instagram, you'll see that I posted some strawberries. And I'm laughing at it now, but let me tell y'all, let me just get into the story. And I don't want to get sidetracked, but I just want to show y'all the power of prayer. So recently, I told you guys that, in my last, maybe the episode before this, and I did the episode on counterfeits, and I had been doing a Pray for Your Future Spouse challenge, and that's also a part of my preparation. I'm going to get into that shortly, so hold that thought. So I'm going to go into that a little bit today. So I did the Pray for Your Future Spouse challenge. Right before I did that, maybe a couple of months before that, me and my ex-boyfriend, we broke up. And he had been out of town with his job, traveling, and it made it easier not to want to see him, not to want to contact him, not to want to reach out and, just be there, because he wasn't here and it wasn't possible. So, and he wasn't like 5 minutes up the road. He was like gone. He's like a day away or whatever. So it made it easier on that part, but it didn't make it easier in my mind. But anyway, so a couple of days after the fast ended, I prayed about some things that was revealed to me through this fast. And like I stated, I felt like our relationship previously was a counterfeit. I felt like it was an image that, and when I say counterfeit, I mean that it wasn't what I thought it was, and it wasn't what he thought it was. We were holding our relationship up to a standard that really was beneath where it should have been. So now we have decided to rekindle our relationship. We have decided to actually take different steps in order to have that kingdom-like relationship and do things differently. So I came up with a 7-day challenge for our relationship, and it just basically help us. It's helping us a lot. Sorry, my mind went blank. It's really helping us a lot. It's hard because we have to have those tough conversations that no relationship really wants to have, or no partner wants to have with their significant other. But it's solely about putting God first and being intentional. So the first day we talked about purpose. We talked about, what was the reason for us getting back together, because it actually threw me for a loop, because he reached out to me out of the blue, and this is something that he normally doesn't do. He's not a person that really puts his feelings on the line. He doesn't really communicate how he feels, versus me. I communicate how I feel, but I also act off emotions. So what I say may not actually be the right thing at the right moment, because I talk out of emotions, and that's something that I'm working through. But he reached out to me and he was telling me all this stuff, and I'm sitting here looking like, what are you talking about? What? And I asked him, I was like, what makes you say all of this? And we just really just asked questions and dissect what was being said. So I prayed about it, and I'm like, Lord, if this is what you want me to do, you'll reveal these things to me. You'll show me things. And I've been praying. I'm still praying through it, because, I don't want to, like I told you guys, I'm not in a place where I want to waste time. And like I told you guys in the previous episode too, when someone is really meant for you, you will be connected to them no matter how far away you are. So it was crazy, because a lot of things that I was saying, he agreed with, and he's like, yeah, or he said first, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. Like, this is literally what I'm going through. Like, this is literally how I feel about relationships and how I feel about dating. I'm not ready to waste time. I'm not ready to continue to walk in the path that we were previously walking in, because we were dating for 4 or 5 years and we really didn't get much accomplished. We got the same issues going on, and we vowed to leave the past in the past, but in our present, we're currently correcting our past. So in order to do that, we have to go back to the past and look at, on a realistic stance, how we're going to do things. So anyways, a couple days ago, he came into town, and we were having one of our building exercises, what I call it, and we were talking about dysfunctions. And one of the dysfunctions that I brought up was, communication. And I think his for me was like understanding. And, so we were talking, and like maybe a week or two ago, I was like, oh my God, I really want some chocolate covered strawberries. And he was like, oh really, I'll get you some. And I'm like, okay. So, excuse me, when he came into town, he was like, oh, I'm just going to, give you the money. You can go get them. And I was like, no, we're not doing that. I was like, I love the fact that you're always willing to do things for me, whenever I need something. But what about you doing it? Why can't you do it? Because my best friend makes them or whatever. I'm like, you can just reach out to her. And he's like, no, I can just cash app you the money right now. Just go get the money. You can call her. I'm like, you know what? Don't worry about it. Like, I wanted strawberries and I still want them. But if you're not going to be spontaneous about it, like, I don't want it. So I was like, you know what, don't worry about it. I don't want it. I don't care, whatever. So he's like, no, you gonna get them strawberries. I'm gonna call her. No, he's like, I'm gonna give you the money. You gonna go get them, and I don't want to hear nothing about it. When I bring you the money, if you don't get the strawberries, that's on you. Da-da-da. So literally, y'all, this was like Thursday or Wednesday. I don't remember what day it was. He left on Friday. Last Friday he left, and he went back out of town. And Friday, I want to say, I can't remember what specifically I prayed. I think it was like Thursday or Friday, or maybe it was the weekend. I don't remember. But anyways, this conversation really stuck in my head, because I'm like, God, like I just really cannot keep doing this. Like, whenever I want something, he's the type of person, he's not like, oh, well, let me surprise her and let me get it for her. Or if I'm thinking about something, he's not like, well, let me go see if I can get this for her or whatever. He just, oh, let me cash app her, or let me give you the money, or here's the money to go get that thing. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, why couldn't you have just got it for me? Like, I don't care if it was a cream soda, like, that could have made my day. Like, it's the small things. And so I literally sat in the car when I got off from work, and that's how I think this was Friday. Because I was sitting in my car after I got off from work. I was sitting in my house. Yeah, so it was Friday, I believe. Friday or Thursday. Anyways, don't quote me. I don't remember. So I'm sitting in my car and I'm praying, talking to God. I'm like, you know what, Lord? Let me just go ahead and give this to you. I was like, I love him with all my heart, and I'm proud of the progress that we're making, and I just pray that you continue to use us and use the situations that we're going through to get us through where we're trying to get, and God, just be the foundation of our relationship. And I said, I just want to put this on the table. So I started literally praying about it, and I was like, God, if you could just hit him with a little bit of spontaneous, like, a little bit, that is all I need. If he could do one thing out of the blue that I'm not gonna see coming, I would literally love this man for the rest of my life, because he is so sweetest person in the world when he want to be. Let's not go above and beyond here, but when he wants to be, he's the sweetest person in the world. But when it comes to that romance and that spontaneous, he just gets it all wrong. So I prayed about it, and I was like, you know what, God, he want to sit up here and talk about some strawberries. Why he just can't order the strawberries for me? Why he just can't get them for me? Like, why you gonna give me the money? That's just like, he gave me the money to get something, and I wanted him to get it or whatever, and he didn't. He just gave me the money. Now it's just like, okay, I think it was some tennis shoes for my birthday last year, and instead of ordering the shoes and surprising me, he gave me the money, and I was like, whatever, I'll just order the shoes. But it would have been better had you just literally ordered them and send them to me, because at the time he was out of town traveling again. I'm like, maybe that's why he didn't do it, whatever. But I'm like, still, like, imagine coming home to a box or going to the office knowing you got a package that you didn't order. Like, it's just a thought in it. So anyways, I don't want to get long-winded in this, but so that was Thursday, Friday. I really think it was Friday. I really do, because this was like that morning after I saw him. So yeah, it was Friday. So I prayed this prayer, and I'm like, God, can you just hit him with a little bit spontaneous, and I will love him forever, and if I need to like do better with something, just let me know. Like, maybe I'm asking too much, God, just reveal. So I'm like, amen. So, I let it go. I'm like, whatever. Like, if he sent me the money, I'm not going to buy those strawberries or whatever. I'm just going to send him the money back, because no, we're not doing that. He going to learn to be spontaneous today. So anyways, you guys, the weekend comes up, and I'm talking to my best friend, and, she's telling me like about these orders she got for the strawberries. And in my head, I'm like, girl, I don't want to hear about no strawberries, because he did not even buy my strawberries, and and all of that. So she's talking to me about it. I'm like, okay, asking how many orders she got. I'm like, oh, okay, that's good, girl. I love her strawberries, y'all. I love her strawberries. Like, oh, they're so good. She made me some for my birthday. I ate one of my mama's on for Mother's Day. I ate one of my aunties on. Let me tell you, I love her strawberries. I don't know if I just love chocolate covered strawberries, but I don't think so. I think I just really love hers. Like, they're so good. I know she's my best friend, but I really love them things. They're so good, sweet and juicy, and woo! And I got some in the kitchen right now, so I will be popping one in my mouth later. But anyway, so yeah, so Sunday, she had invited me to go out with her mom, but like I told y'all, I'm at a point where I'm sacrificing with my money, so I wasn't able to go. And I was just like upset about the strawberries, upset about I couldn't go to her mother's dinner, and just going through a lot. So I was like, okay, so Sunday, no, maybe Friday or Saturday. I think it was Saturday. Me and my boyfriend had got into it, and we didn't really like get into it, but I don't know, like lately I have just been like in this funk, and I think it was just like being overwhelmed. I told y'all, sometimes I just really get overwhelmed with everything that's going on and all the things that I'm trying to do. So I was just overwhelmed, and he hadn't called me. No, this was Sunday. Yeah, this was Sunday, because football was on. This was Sunday. So he hadn't called me. Like, we had been texting most of the day, and also if you saw on Instagram, I put up a poll asking if talking to someone and texting someone was the same. Everybody said no. So yeah, I had put that up just to prove a point, of course. But anyway, so yeah, we hadn't really talked, and I know on Sundays he watched football, so that's why I don't know why I was like really in my feelings, but I guess I just needed that call from him, like to hear his voice and talk to him and whatever. So, we're going back and forth about it, and he's like, what's wrong with you? You all right? You never really trip about this? I watch football on Sundays. And I'm like, yeah, but you could have called me. Maybe I needed you to call me today, and you over there watching football, the Jaguars losing anyway, da-da-da-da, rah-rah-rah, I'm going off, and, it wasn't like a bad altercation. It was just like a communication disagreement. Like, and that's when he was like, you know what? We can agree to disagree. And so I'm like, okay, you know what? Fine. And I was like, well, thank you for calling me. Or I was just calling you because I called him. And I was like, well, you can start by watching your football. I'll talk to you later. So maybe like 1 or 2 minutes later, he called me back, and he was like, hey. And I was like, hey. So he's like, you feeling better? No, he didn't say that. He was like, how you doing? I was like, I'm fine. And so he was like, what's going on? I was like, nothing. And he was like, let's talk about it. Let's talk about that previous phone call. I had to give you some space because I don't know what was going on. So, we talked about it, hashed it out. And I was like, okay. So then he's like, I was just waiting for something to take place for me to call you. And so then we got back into it, because I'm like, what do you mean you waiting on something to take place? What were you waiting to take place for? The football game to go off? That is not important. Like, you need to be calling and checking on me. So then he's like, oh, the phone go both ways. You could have called me. So it literally got resolved just to get unresolved, literally. And so at the end, I was just like, okay, you know what, this isn't going nowhere. I was like, I don't know what's going on with me today. I don't know. I just really needed, to hear your voice or whatever. And I just really would appreciate it had you called me. But, no biggie. I'm just a little crazy right now. So, we talked it out, got through it. So then, he texted me. I want to say he texted me that Saturday and told me that he had a surprise for me. And I asked him, I was like, what was the surprise? Are you coming home early? So he's like, no. But mind you, it's Sunday. I ain't worried about no surprise. Like, cause I'm like, I know it ain't my strawberries. Like, you couldn't order my strawberries after you sat up here and told me you was gonna do all this and give me the money, like you always do. So I was just like, whatever, it ain't no strawberries. And on Sunday, I wouldn't think about no strawberries because, like I said, I had already run that thought out of my mind. So, anyways, furthermore, carrying on. We end up talking later that night or whatever, and he was like, talking to me about, have you got your surprise yet? And I was like, no, what is it? He was like, well, you just gonna have to wait. And I was like, okay, well, when I get it, I'll mention it. You don't have to keep bringing it up. I'm like, and it's supposed to be a surprise, so why are you telling me? But I think he was just trying to like calm me down and make my day because I was like still like frantic for some reason. So Monday, I'm at work and my best friend texts me. She's like, hey girl, I'm finna come up to your job real quick and bring you something. So I'm like, okay girl, come on up here. So I get outside and she hands me this box of freaking strawberries. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, I felt so bad. And I'm like, and I told her, I said, girl, now I gotta apologize. But I had already like hashed things out with him, but it wasn't like the way I should have been a bigger person because I was being like, I don't know, frantic, or I had a moment. I don't know what it was, but I felt so bad because I'm like, oh my God, he literally got these strawberries. And then I thought about, I'm like, Lord, I literally prayed about this. God, you are so good, because I didn't want to keep having that conversation because I felt like he wasn't really understanding where my point was coming from. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to give it to God, literally. And that's what I did. And I really had thrown the thought of strawberries out my mind because I'm like, God moves, but I don't know how fast he going to move. And my best friend's like, yeah, girl, he texted me Friday or whatever about getting you strawberries. And I was like, oh my God. And I said, this because like last week I had told her like, girl, he going to give me some strawberries, But I hadn't really mentioned it to her. And the reason being was because I'm like, he want me to call you and order the freaking strawberries when he could do it. I need some spontaneous, and I'm explaining to her what we got into it about or whatever. But anyways, I said all that about the strawberries and football and him to say that prayer works. I'm telling y'all, like the smallest things we can seek God for in prayer. And I was just like, oh my God. And I literally, after I got my strawberries, I went in there and I took a moment out to myself. And I was like, Lord, thank you so much for hearing my prayer, because this was something that was small but big, and it's bigger now because you literally answered my prayer. So I think that prayer is really important, and it can be the smallest thing to the largest thing. I really think that whatever you're going through, whatever you need help with, you need to just surrender it to God in prayer. And when you pray about it, just let it go. And once you forget about it, I'm telling you, it'll come to you and it'll show itself. So that was like so amazing. I was like, oh my God, like God, you just so great. And that's another thing, like, and I'm also, like I said, praying for confirmation about this relationship, if we're doing the right thing and, certain things. And God is just like on the move, y'all. Like, he's moving quick. And I'm like, whoa, like literally Friday or Thursday, whatever day I prayed about it. I want to say it was Friday though, because I seen him that morning and that was when he left. So that Friday, that same day, he ordered my strawberries. And I'm like, God, like, even if it was Thursday, that's just 24 hours. Like, you know what I'm saying? God is really awesome. And even if he didn't answer my prayer, that just would have been another confirmation, like, okay, well, we ain't supposed to be doing this, because no, something else would happen. But I'm just excited because I'm able to discern and be able to take the smallest things that I feel are just lightweight stuff and give them to God, because I can't handle it on my own. So you have to be able to really surrender whatever it is that you're fighting with in prayer, literally. And I feel like, regardless of what we're going through, if we're having a conversation and I feel like, he's not agreeing or I'm not agreeing, I'm taking it to God now. And I'm like, Lord, we talked about this and I really just want to talk to you about this. And, God, would you mend his heart? And if it's me that needs to be mended, can you mend my heart? That's literally the source of our foundation right now. Really just being God first and praying. Of course, we're not perfect. We make mistakes, but we're also able to come back and gather those things up, repent, ask for forgiveness for either our actions or something that we did or said or whatever. We're just able to go to God in prayer. And I'm so thankful that in that season of waiting, that's what I did. I literally prayed about everything. And I'm in this thing of the God first life, literally, you guys. So I do solely recommend that you pray each and every day, little too small, because God will definitely answer. So that was my story, long-winded, sorry guys, but my Sunday strawberry football prayer works story to you guys. So be obedient, and if you are having trouble with communication or getting someone to see your side of it, just ask God before you go to talk to that person. Like, hey, that's also another thing I did when I came up with our 7-day exercise. I prayed about it first, and I was like, Lord, I really think that we should do this because we're trying to do things differently, so we have to do different steps, and it may seem childish to him, but if it is childish, then that just means that this isn't the relationship I'm supposed to be in. If he's not willing to do this to help our relationship, then he doesn't care, and we just gonna have to continue to go our separate ways, and And I prayed about it, and I didn't present it to him that night. I presented it to him the next day, and he was like, yeah, definitely. And now, like, it's crazy because we missed like a few days and I didn't bring it up. Well, we missed like one day, and then we were talking a couple days ago or yesterday, and he's like, well, what's the next step on our building exercise? And I was laughing because I'm like, Lord, like, this man here, I'm like, Jesus, you are really great, because I'm telling you, and it makes things easier, literally, because tough situations that I want to talk about that I can't bring up, I literally go to God, like, God, I really need to talk to him about this, but I don't want it to get offensive. I don't want to say it the wrong way. Like, can you help me or help him present it in a way that we both will understand? And yesterday we had a long-winded conversation that came out of nowhere, but I know I prayed about it, and I'm glad that it went the way it did. We got some things out of off our chest about the past, and something that caused like this big, like, quiet moment a couple of months of our relationship of last year, and we were able to actually talk about it. I don't think that we're done discussing it, but I'm glad that we got clarity on it. So like I said, just pray about everything, not just when you need something, but when you don't need something too. I pray all the time, and that's just something that you have to learn to add to your daily routine. So the next thing that I'm doing in my life is preparing my finances. So let me talk about what I'm doing for that. So I'm tithing. Like I said, I'm tithing. Every check that I get, first 10% goes to God, because he blesses. 90% with his blessing is better than 100% with no blessing. So I solely believe that, especially this job I have now, I know that it was given to me at the right time, at the right moment. And he is asking me to be a great steward, because there's things that are coming in my future that I need to be prepared for. And in order for me to prepare better for then, I have to be better prepared with less now. So I'm praying about it. It is a struggle, you guys. I have been trying to get my finances together since the beginning of the year, but now I'm just really into it. I sat down with my sister yesterday, and we're working on Excel spreadsheets. She showed me how to do like Excel spreadsheets. So I created a budget list, and now I'm going to create a chart for my savings accounts that I want to create. I want to do one for buying a home. I don't want to buy a home this year. I don't plan on buying one next year, but if it's in God will, it will happen. But I want to start putting money aside for that. I also want to start traveling more next year. So right now I'm just preparing my finances to take a certain percentage of each object or each thing that I'm trying to accommodate, and putting that money into those accounts, while also being able to save some for myself as well and pay my bills. So I know it sounds like a lot, but I know that I can get through it. I know that I can do it. And if this is something that you're trying to do as well, let me know what you're doing. And then if you have questions about what I'm doing, I can definitely give you some insight on what I'm doing and how to go about that. So yeah, I have a lot of things that I want to do. So I'm going to set up different accounts, different savings accounts. I already have like a few open, and I want to create times where I can just take a certain amount, and it doesn't have to be a ridiculous amount. I'm literally going to start off with $7 for each account, y'all, because 7 is a number of completion, and that's just the best life, blessed life number that I love. So I'm going to do $7 starting off, and once I get good at stewarding my money better, I'll maybe do another 7 for each account or one account. Take small steps. Don't do anything that's unrealistic. So that's also what I'm doing too, being realistic with myself about how big my finances are, and actually learning to sacrifice and not go out all the time. And when I do go out, you can go to happy hour, you can go with things are cheaper or on a good sale, you're going to buy stuff. Like, I go to Bath and Body Works semi-annual sale once or twice a year when it comes, and I stock up. But I don't spend over like $25. But I get all the things that I need, and I'm good for that year. And then, like, I like to go out to eat. So now I'm going to be in the habit of going out, during happy hour, because food is cheaper. I can get maybe a nice little drink or something, a mimosa or champagne, wine, whatever. I like to get me some seafood. I get specials, just small stuff like that, cutting back, and also coming up with a food budget, gas budget, finance budget. So just literally getting my finances in order. And that is something that I'm still previously working on. Like, after I get done with this, I'm literally going to be still working on my spreadsheets and getting all the things that I need money for, and counting how many accounts that is, and how many dollars I need to have, or how many sevens I need to transfer. So that's something that I'm also working on. I've been doing really good with paying my tithes. I have paid them on time ever since I started my full-time job. So I am so excited about that, because last year, I paid my tithes, but it was like on and off. When I saw that I needed the money, which I need the money now, but it was like, okay, well, next month I'll pay. But now I'm literally like, I'm going to go broke to pay my tithes, because God, you sacrificed and you made this way possible for me to even have this income. So I know that you'll grant me with more income, and when I get more, I can do more. So I have to be able to do more with less, and do more with what I have. So that's also another step that I'm looking towards. Also, for my future, when it comes to marriage and things like that, I'm like I said, I did the Pray for Your Future Spouse challenge, and I still look at those daily prayers often, and I'm still looking on ways of how me and my boyfriend can make our relationship better, that we can communicate, because our biggest problem was communication and understanding, and effectively communicating and effectively understanding, and just putting the small things back into our relationship. Me, I just want a small little spontaneous thing every now and then. Him, he just want a video call every now and then because he's away, and I'm not really big on video calls, so I'm still trying to get into the groove of that. I may need to pray about that God just give me the strength to do that, because I don't like video calling. I don't like FaceTiming, and he mentioned that yesterday. I'm like, oh God, like, I just saw y'all look the same. But I understand though, because he's not here, he's traveling, and I know he's talking about like doing maybe another year or two in traveling, which is fine with me. I don't mind him traveling, but I know that we have to keep it different in order to keep that spice in our relationship. So I'm just preparing for a lot of things in our relationship, and we're also like, today is going to be a day of preparation for our relationship and our building exercise. So we're going to be looking at not only how we can prepare ourselves for marriage, if that happens between us, or not if, but when that happens between us, but for ourselves. I know that I eventually want to 100% work for myself. He wants to work for himself. So I think that we should sit down and talk about our goals, talk about how we're going to get there, and not only just for our relationship, but for us individually, because once we decide to be in a relationship, and we actually do get married, those things are going to be things that we're going to have to walk through each other with anyway. So I think that right now, if we prepare for them, we'll be better prepared. So that's also something that I'm doing. Health-wise, I'm going to try to do, my goal at first was to do 5 days a week, but because my asthma has been bothering me so much, I think I'm just going to do like 3 or 4 days a week, if that. I think about 4 days out the week at most, 3 minimum, to go jogging and walking the bridges. I go with my coworker, and it's really relaxing. I went out on Saturday. I normally don't go on the weekends, and I was going to go on Sunday, but the weather didn't permit it. But I went out Saturday because I told you I was having a frantic day, and I just needed to get out in the wind and talk to the Lord and just say, listen, I don't know what's going on right now, but I just need your help, and I just need some guidance. So I had a great time out there. It's really pushes me to do better, and I'm also getting ready to change my diet. So Sunday, because that's the start of a new week, I'm going to be on a new diet. I'm going to just be solely on fruits and vegetables and whole grains and things like that. less sugars, less carbs, less starches, and try to focus on eating more green. I love vegetables, so that's not a problem, and I've done this plenty of times. So, but now it's choice, and I don't want this to be something that's temporary. I want to just be able to control what I'm eating, because lately I have really been having like the craziest sweet tooth. So I want to get this stuff out of the way this week, and then take a slow detox and get all that stuff out my body, and just start brand new on Sunday. So pray for me, guys. I know it's going to be intense. It's going to get real. So I'm excited about that. And what else is going on? What else? Of course, y'all know relationships. I'm praying for my relationships with my family, with my friends, and I'm praying that, if I could be a help to anyone in any way, that God uses me in the best way possible, and that I'm able to just be encouraged. I also just reconnected with a friend that we kind of parted ways, and I knew that it was just not the season for us to be friends at that moment, because we both were going through different things. And after I finished my challenge, this person called me out of the blue, and it was crazy because I had just thought about her the day before all of that happened or took place. And I was like, oh, I should call her, and I was like, no, because the last time I did that, it didn't really go well. It didn't go bad, but it didn't go anywhere, literally. So she called me out the blue, and we ended up bumping to each other, and I was like, Lord, this is heaven sent, because we were at the same store. She was like, are you at this store? And I was like, girl, yeah, you see me? She was like, yeah. And I laughed, and I told her, I said, girl, God work in mysterious ways, so when it comes to timing, and if you're in your waiting season, just be patient and know that God got you. He will not put you in a situation where he knows that you can't handle, and just be willing to be patient and wait, because when you wait, God will definitely supply. And also with my finances, I'm also taking another career leap. Yay! I'm so excited, you guys. I am about to be working for another company. This is a company that I have literally been trying to get on with, especially when I moved to Atlanta. This was a company that I wanted to get with, and I'm also praying that if it's in God's will, and if it's something that my boyfriend agrees with, be that we're in this place where we're trying to plan a future in the near future. So, and at the end of the day, if God confirms that and he say no, I'm still going to go, because I did that before, because I'm not going to stop my life for him. But I just want to, communicate what my plans are, so that if I do that and we decide to get engaged or something, from this time down happens, that at the end of the day, it's not like, oh, you didn't tell me you were doing this, da, da, da. So anyways, this company is great. I'm so excited, and I'm praying that, if it's in God's will for me to move back to Atlanta, not soon, but maybe like within the next 2 to 3 years, because I want to continue to plan and save. But if that's in God's will, that I can use this as a platform to do that, and I can continue to build my businesses, I can continue to work full time, and I don't really plan on quitting working full time until I'm 100% solely secure in a plan for, when I get ready to leave. So once God give me like that, okay, I'll be good. So I just want to better prepare myself. So yeah, those are the things that I'm really doing right now. Like I said, I'm in a season of preparation. I just got out of my waiting season. It was a long waiting season, let me tell you. It's been a long time coming. Really, I got out of my waiting season in, I would say, end of July, beginning of August. So here soon, it was a long walk. I've been in my waiting season for about a year now. Really, probably longer than that. It was just a time where I just had to really get back to the basics and get back to what God had for me, and get back in his word and get back in relationship with him to manifest the things that I had been praying for years and years ago. And I'm just continuing to pray that I continue to be in his word, and that I continue to do, what it is that he's telling me to do. So I hope this information that I provided to you was helpful. Just remember to pray about everything. Literally, I'm telling you, pray about everything. And if you receive it in your heart that it is done, it will literally be done. If you're having issues with something and you're afraid to talk to people about it, before you go talk to that person, pray about it. If it's something on your job and your boss is going to be offended, pray about it, that that person's heart is open, that they're not offended, that you're delivering whatever it is you need to say in a positive manner. If it's your family member, your friend, something so simple, just pray about it, because God will definitely show up and he will definitely show out on your behalf without you even knowing it until it happens. So don't ever doubt God. Nothing is too small or too big for God. He's moved mountains and he can flow the water through a river if need be. So don't ever think that a question is too small for him. If it's on your heart and you can't do it alone, do it in his strength. So please don't ever think that something is too small. I'm telling y'all, literally, I pray about everything, especially now in my relationship, because there's certain things that I know I can't present to my boyfriend and they're going to go in a good way, and not on his behalf, but on my behalf. So I literally pray about these things before I present it to him. And then when I present it to him, I watch the way he reacts and I remember what I prayed for. So I just try to remember that God will show you. You just have to be there to see it. And this is my season of preparation. If you're in your waiting season, just continue to pray. That's the best thing to do in your waiting season. Pray about what it is that God is wanting you to do until you get into your preparation season. And when you get to your preparation season, pray about what it is he wants you to prepare for. Just continue to align your plans with his. And if your plans doesn't align with his, he will definitely cut your plans out. No questions asked. So I hope that this was very helpful to someone. I pray that if you have questions, you reach out to me and I can assist you in any way possible. I'm also getting ready to try to go back to school in spring term too. I forgot to mention that. That's something that's going to fall under my business things. With the business ideas that I have that God has sent me. And I'm also battling trying to figure out how to do one of my business and still incorporate God in it, because I don't want it to be a preachy business, but I do still want God to be the CEO of my business. So I actually was listening to a podcast earlier with Tatum, and she talked about this. It was called You Can Do Both. If you haven't heard that podcast episode, I definitely encourage you to go listen to it. That is Bossed and Blessed Up podcast by Tatum Temia. It was really confirmation, because I've been praying about this. I want to go back to school and I want to do interior design. I have a heart for design. I love it. And I just really want to continue to use God in my business and to still have that supernatural business and that supernatural life in my businesses. So I think that he will definitely show me and guide me on what it is I need to do in order to make that happen. So I'm really excited, and I pray that you guys are just staying, continue to be plugged in and listening, praying to God, seeking him on any time that you need him. And whenever you fall short, that he will definitely pick you up. So again, I hope this episode was helpful. So I'm just getting back right, y'all. I'm getting right. So I want y'all to get right with me, whether it's taking that small step or 1 step or 2 steps. Take 1 step. Start small. Don't go big or go home. You don't always have to be in grind mode. Do one thing at a time. Do what you can handle and take it step by step. And don't forget to keep shining as the gems you are. And I will see y'all on the next podcast. Bye.